The next apparatus that we're going to show you is the kettlebell. For those of you who are not familiar with the kettlebell, it is a cannonball with a handle on top of it. It's pronounced kettle like a tea kettle and not cattle like a cow. Kettlebell. You have the cannonball and the handle. For this exercise, I'm going to show you what's called a goblet squat. On a goblet squat, you're going to grasp the horns of the kettlebell, keeping the bottom of your hand nice and close to the cannonball portion. Your feet are going to be maybe a little bit wider than your hips, with your toes slightly turned out. Keeping the kettlebell pretty close to the body, you're going to keep your eyes facing straight ahead. Drive your hips backwards and sit down, nice and low into that squat, and then pop up and squeeze your glutes very tight at the top of the exercises. Hips back and down, eyes straight ahead, pop up, glutes tight. One more time, down and up. From the side, it is important on the goblet squat as well as the next exercise to keep your lower leg perpendicular to the floor, or keep it vertical. By that, I mean that as you sit down, your hips are going back first and then down. Snap your hips up. We don't want that right there where your knee travels too far forward. Again, hips down, snap up, squeeze the glutes tight, down and up. That's the goblet squat. We're going to move from the goblet squat to the kettlebell deadlift. On the kettlebell deadlift, you're going to stand in the same position as you had on the goblet squat. Feet slightly turned outward, only this time the kettlebell is going to be on the floor right between your feet. This exercise involves you driving your hips backwards, keeping your chest and back up, grabbing the kettlebell, and snapping your hips forward. They'll go down and up and snap the hips forward. The key on both of these exercises is to drive your hips backwards and not straight down. To give you an idea, it should look like this. Your hips go back, hit the ground, come up, snap your hips forward. Down and forward. That's the kettlebell.